See the traffic outside, I thought there was something big
Well,
going on in here.
all right.
Well, there it
Thank you.
is.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the Selectmen's meeting of Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. And I'd like to start by saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we're going to start this meeting today with a happy occurrence. We're going to be swearing in Tufton Borough's newest patrol officer, Colby Cross. Colby, if you'd be happy to take a position at the end of the table and get sworn in.
Come on up here. Hello.
Hi,
And welcome. I'm Jennifer. I'm the town clerk here.
I'm Colby, nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
All
All
right.
right.
Can I just get you?
Oh,
Thank
so we
you.
got a picture. This is
Yeah.
all very
Picture.
official here. All right, please raise your right hand. So do you, Colby Cross, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on you as a patrol officer according to the best of your abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire? So help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Okay, so you get to sign right here. All right, and then I'm gonna process this, sign it, and stamp it, and then I'll bring it back in for you.
Awesome.
So, congratulations, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's my point to turn around and issue his first badge to him. I don't think that it should be me. His grandfather is a retired captain in New Hampshire State Police. So Captain, would you please come up and present your grandson with the badge?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You should take over. I'm just gonna hand it to you. Because I'll stab you.
Thank you.
Be careful.
All right, we're all set. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing him with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Thank you.
I'm Colby's mom.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you, Bob Murray.
I'm Grandma Linda.
Nice to meet you.
Colby's mom, Megan.
If you get to the line, let me know.
No worries. Ship him back.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right, public input. And do we have any members of the public here to provide any other input?
I'm here to seek permission to. do
Okay, you're Jim
upgrades.
Stockman, okay, we'll get,
You're on the agenda.
yeah,
Okay.
yep, good, we'll get to you shortly. All right, seeing no other public comment, we have meeting minutes to attend to. We've got draft minutes from, let's see, I've got Monday, May 7th. This was the, this was the Union Wharf acceptance. I've read it, I don't have any corrections to make.
I'll move that we sign these minutes.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have Selectmen's meeting minutes from Monday, May 13th, 2024. Again, I've read these minutes and I didn't see anything needing correction.
I'll move that we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Another set of meeting minutes from Monday, May 20th. Once again, they look accurate as written.
I'll move acceptance.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have non-public minutes from May 13th. And I'm not sure, do you think that these need to be sealed?
Well, it's a little late in the day. I thought that we.
I thought we voted.
to seal them until today.
Oh. so
Until
they're
today.
Sealed currently,
Okay.
alright.
Do we have a motion to change the status of the sealed minutes or leave them sealed?
I see no reason to keep them sealed. Is there? I don't see anything that.
No, now that he's been sworn in, I think we can unseal them.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to unseal the non-public minutes from May 13th.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. And BTLA work session minutes. Those are one of the ones that I read, yes, I read those already. Okay. 7520. Okay, we've done the swearing in of Colby. Jim Stockman,
Oh, wow.
you're up.
He's out.
Okay, that was quick.
Feel free to come to the table.
Okay. Chip probably knows what I'm talking about more than
Well, I
anybody.
tried to figure it out, it's Gene's piece, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Across the street.
map 68, lot 3.
Right,
Yeah, right across the
60
street from
acres.
your
right,
old property.
yeah.
I was about to just go up there and put gravel down and maybe a culvert in so we can get passage through to our field, our property out there. It's a 65-acre lot. We call it the Brighton Field. Anyways, and I was told, well, you better go see the selectmen and get, the permission, and, so I guess that's the thing to do.
What we've done in the past on Class 6 roads, when somebody wants to upgrade Candy Knoll, for instance, and
Yeah,
a couple other ones, is just to have you in touch with the road agent. So, so you mentioned put a culvert in, just so it's sized appropriately.
yeah,
And just so he's aware of what's going on.
actually, we're gonna have Jim Bean do the work for us, just be able to get a farm tractor up there or
Yeah,
pickup or whatever. Right now, we gotta cut some bushes back, some limbs out of the way, and, thought it
the
best.
water comes down off that hill pretty fierce.
I think that one place where we need the culverts, the worst of the whole,
Yeah.
always has been.
Is this culvert gonna cross the road, or is it just so you can put
No,
a,
it's to cross, we've never really had a culvert.
so you can come off the road and access the property?
Right at the
Right,
entrance.
it's kinda right where that road went up into what I believe was your property
Yeah.
at one time.
Yeah.
There's that one bad
There's
place.
no culvert there. Closer to, the Tufton Row end, there is some cement culvert that we threw in there just to get the water off the road.
Okay, so that hasn't been an issue, I guess, it's just that one
Yeah, it's a
place
little
you
right there.
bottom out with most vehicles would bottom out.
So this is just, it's essentially, it's a driveway culvert.
Well, it goes across the class 6 road.
It is,
Yeah,
it is
it's
crossing the
across,
road.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then he turns in what I've always regarded as the upper end of Sandy Knoll Road, but I guess everybody argues with me about that. But,
well, I call it that too.
Yeah.
Well, that's just beyond the field entrance.
right,
Is what's left of the old Sandy Knoll
Yeah.
Road. Yeah,
Is this culvert gonna, since it's gonna be now crossing the road, is it gonna be creating any water issues for the people that are downhill?
no,
he's the people that.
the people downhill is up, that's our property, and it goes down into a beaver bog pond, there's a little pond down in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of wetlands down in through there anyways. And,
Okay.
then I don't think you would know better than anybody, Chip, is will the town ever have a desire to meet up with Wolfboro and put that road all the way through?
I've had that desire for the last 40 years, cause
I know.
it's just a perfect road. It dumps out onto 28 outside of town. But I don't think Wolfboro has any interest in doing their end, which is worse,
Cause that would make our property obviously more valuable,
right?
and, whether it would benefit Wolfboro enough,
I
that's
think
what we
that
always
there are
thought.
two big pieces on the Wolfboro side, on the same side of the road as you are. Cause my property went all the way to the Wolfboro line. On the other side of the road, there are two big pieces, 100-acre pieces, on current use. So I'm not certain there'd be a lot of, well, your piece is in current use as well,
I
isn't it?
guess
Yeah.
yes, it is, yeah. I'm not sure, while I'm here with you people, is that something we could ever try to put through, or, you know?
I can't see Wolfboro being interested. What benefit would Wolfboro have?
Well, that is a good point, but you never know, you know, they might.
That'd be all our benefit for
Yeah.
ease of access to 28.
Leaving traffic up at 109A,
Yeah.
it does open up some property. Who's the contractor that's down there across from the water plant? Ducharme, is it Ducharme?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not that familiar
There's
with
a
it.
couple of lots by him that would benefit from the.
People from Tuftonboro have a desire to go that direction to Wolfboro, but how many of people from Wolfboro benefit going to Tufton? I don't know, but maybe, is it something we could,
I mean, the
pursue?
real benefit is the more of those kind of class 6 roads that you open up, the less pressure there is on
on
backland,
the other roads and,
or on backland. You know, so somebody's got, like you have 60 acres of property and putting in a housing development with roads, so that's taking over roads that,
right.
I'm not sure how tough of a sell it would be, because this would have to be, we'd have to do a warrant article for something like that.
oh, yeah, yeah. No,
And I don't know how much of a sell it would be.
And the town residents of Tuftonboro, they'd have to vote on it or
Right.
whatnot. Well, it is a benefit for most of us because of, you know, avoiding the traffic and whatnot. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up. I mainly want to get approval
Yeah.
for upgrading.
Gene and Charlie used to go out there when they were dating, I think is what I heard.
Oh, yeah, I think they actually camped there once, I think. Yeah, that was a great outing, I guess, but didn't do a whole lot of that. Yeah, so anyways,
I guess I would be in favor of him going to see the road agent.
Yeah, as long as the water that they'd be introducing onto the property doesn't have any effect on anybody downslope of that, I'm okay with it.
it's already
Yeah,
It's already going that direction because it just washes across the road,
Right, so the culvert would just,
makes it go better.
yeah, keep it from
Washington.
washing around.
I haven't been keeping up with the conservation trust. Is that what it is now?
Lakes Region Conservation.
Lakes Region Conservation, but you have hiking trails up there.
Right, it's open for public.
So wouldn't the road benefit, that would benefit them,
Sure.
people, the
Yeah,
hikers?
it would increase the traffic to that area, I would assume, a little bit anyway.
In some ways, it's why we haven't done much of the road ourselves, because we're trying not to have the traffic go up in there.
Right.
We've had vandals, we had a steel gate and they went up there and stole half of it. You know, geez, could be a relative of mine, but anyway.
Now, would this culvert create any future liability or responsibility of the town to maintain it?
No, 'cause it's class 6. I mean, the culvert that was there closer to the class 5 road on our end was destroyed. I put some culvert pieces in there just so I could drive through there and get up the mountain. But we don't have any responsibility for upkeep on that.
Okay.
Not until we change its
Is there a
designation.
building up there, a home?
Not that far.
No.
No, the yellow house is the last place on the road.
Yep.
Do we need to make a motion?
I think so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we allow Mr. Stockman to approach the road agent about improving the class 6 road, north line, class 6 area.
Excuse me, is he gonna do it as a road agent or is he doing it as a private
I'll second for discussion.
inspection?
he has to go through the road agent, so the road agent has to approve his upgrades. So
Is that a conflict of interest?
I think that's up to Jim to decide. I mean, we've got one going down on Union Wharf Road. I don't know how that gets settled.
I don't think it is yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to create a conflict of interest.
It doesn't matter really who does the work. We've been dealing with Jim with the pit, so we're familiar with him, and you know, it doesn't
Right.
matter who does the work.
Right. But he is the, well, other than the selectman, he is the authority for the roads.
Yeah.
So, do you think that there's a conflict of interest?
I think the only conflict would kind of, we didn't like the repair that was made,
Mm-hmm.
then we might have a conflict with our road agent about it.
That
But I don't think, I mean, he has, the whole idea of an elected road agent is to allow them to go out and make a living somewhere else as well as being the road agent, so. I don't think there's a conflict on that end of it. It's just, and I can't imagine that it's in his financial interest to under-design the culvert. If anything, he'd want to over-design it to make more money off of Mr. Stockman has all kinds of money.
That's what the town's been doing so far with our other project. Holy cow. But that wasn't the town's fault, it was neighbors mostly, but anyways.
Dave, how do you
Another
feel?
story.
Excuse me. I don't, I can't speak to the conflict of interest. It would, off the top of my head, it would seem like one, but Chip's point is a pretty good one. With regard to the upgrading the road, I see no reason why we wouldn't want to do it, so long as it doesn't increase our liability.
I think that if there was if this wasn't a Class 6 road and we were responsible for maintaining it, it could very well be a conflict of interest. Him being hired privately, but it's not. It's Class 6. We're not going to be responsible for maintaining it. They're gonna maintain it unless for some reason we change the classification, and then that road will probably be torn up anyways.
Right, then it's all on our,
And it's
on
all
the
on
town.
us, right?
Right,
Right.
so the more work we can get out of Mr. Stockman to bring it up to grade.
Yeah.
The less we would have to do.
Less we
Yeah,
have to
right.
spend.
All
Or
right.
like the culvert, make sure the culvert's one that can stay there.
And I'm sure there's some gravel that's gonna go in there and just make sure it's good base gravel.
As
All right.
little as we can right now, to make it passable. We're
All
not
right.
gonna do like we did on Sandy Knoll Road by any means, that's for sure.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. There you go.
Good, great.
Good luck.
Thank you guys, nice meeting you guys.
Same here.
I don't think we've ever met. I'm Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Nice to
No,
meet
we
you.
haven't.
Bob Murray.
Hi Bob, saw you at town meeting, you know this guy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jim.
Good, thanks.
Thanks.
Fire update. We have nobody coming from the fire department today, or we're early.
Yeah.
We're early.
You were 8 minutes early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, hold on, Phil.
Yeah. All right. And in that case, while we're waiting for the fire department, let's
the signature file.
do some signatures. We have an intent to cut tax map block and lot 64-2-5 on Lang Pond Road, 13.5 acre. They want to cut 8 acres.
I'll make a move that we sign that intent to cut.
Is current use playing any role in that, and does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
No.
No. Okay. Then I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have 3 letters of appointment. And we have one letter of appointment for Ellen Watts for the Milfoil Control Committee for a term to expire in June 2027. And Larry Gill, same June 2027 for the Conservation Commission. And Mark Howard, same June 2027 for the Conservation Commission.
I'll make a motion we reappoint those folks.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
And we have an abatement recommendation from our assessor Rod, our assessor Rod Wood for property at 95 Dame Road. The property, the structure is in absolute disrepair and collapsing in on itself, and they're looking to adjust the value of the property based on the structure being unlivable. Previous assessment 220, 900. Revised assessment 75, 400, which looks like it's essentially the lot.
Yeah.
And the assessment abated $145,500. And this is recommended by our assessor. And I've seen the property, I concur.
I'll make a motion we sign the abatement, I guess.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So is this requested by the owner?
Yeah. it has to be.
That's what I kind of figured, but
That's the only way it happens, right? Is that it has to be requested by the property owner?
okay.
Right.
Abatement application to the municipality, which has been filled out by the
So they're
property
holding
owner.
on to the lot. They just don't want to pay as many taxes for it.
Well, they're gonna be tearing it down and rebuilding. Yes.
Nobody ever signs up for enrichment. You have an
No.
abatement.
No, I'd like,
Yeah, my
I'd like to,
taxes are too low.
I'd like to pay more taxes. I'll read a little correspondence.
Sure.
We have a letter from Rose Perrette regarding thanking Jack Widmer. After reading your article in the spring 2024 issue of the Tuftonboro Times, I couldn't help but notice your recognition of Andrew Shigori, Guy Pike, Steve Brinzer, as well as the election workers and voters. All well deserved. However, you didn't believe thanks should be given to Jack Widmer for his 30 years of dedicated service as the Tuftonboro representative on the Governor Wentworth School Board. I and many others have thanked him personally, but I feel it was remiss to not recognize Mr. Widmer's service and commitment to our community and schools for 30 years. Well, since I wrote that article, I will take responsibility for leaving Jack's name out. And Mrs. Perrette, you're absolutely correct. I did leave that out, and it certainly was not intentional. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. And we all do recognize that Mr. Widmer's service to Tuftonboro for 30 years was exemplary. We have a thank you letter from Life Ministries Food Pantry for our donation. Tuftonboro Board of Adjustment Notice of Decision. We've got 3 cases. Manaz Mahadashti for special exception has been granted. Victor Druin for variance has been granted. two, I'm sorry, just case 1 and case 2. Northeast Recycling, NRRA, Northeast Recycling, was just giving us an update on
Our usage.
what our usage and what we've avoided in trash disposal fees. We have a certificate of liability here from Tradibi Environmental Services.
That's for the hazardous
That's
waste.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to be doing our conducting our hazardous waste disposal day in September, which will be very well advertised, hopefully. We have a wetlands permit by notification. Heen property. State of New Hampshire DOT has sent us a letter informing us that the box culvert right on outside of North Country Village on 109A is scheduled for replacement in the summer of 2025. We'd originally thought it was going to be done this year, but DOT says it's going to be done in the summer of 2025. Okay, that is it, and 5 o'clock. Do you want to wait for the fire department to show up, or
Yeah, you should be here.
or just accept their report as written?
We've got a couple other things we can look at too. I mean, the invitation of bid for the roadway paving projects.
Yeah.
Jim was gonna come in for that,
Yeah.
so Jim's coming in to
Oh,
cover that.
it is,
Yeah.
okay. I'm surprised.
We can.
I can give you my update, it's short, I'm sorry, I don't have it typed up.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I gave you all in your folders the MS 535. I just got that from the auditors. They upload it to the DRA website and we review it, DRA reviews it, and then I'll download one for signature. So if you have questions or anything, next meeting I'll have it ready for signature.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Right.
Have you?
No, I haven't looked at all of
Okay.
it. I do have one question for Tim on it that I saw. When I go into the DRA website, I see it a little different than you. So it says unanticipated funds used, and we used money for the highway truck. I think that was it. I had a call from,
No, we didn't use any undesignated funds for the highway truck.
No, that was all grant money.
It was
yeah,
all-
well, it
all
was
grant.
unanticipated grant money,
Okay,
yeah. Tough Campbell, Matt called, and they are hoping that on October 17th, which is a Thursday, that they can host the Tufton Borough Appreciation Days. I guess it hasn't happened in a couple of years, I'm not quite sure. I wasn't sure if this is instead of what we did last year at the fire station, it's for the volunteers and workers. And they would open up their property at 4 for if you wanna go kayaking, play games, or whatever, and then 6 o'clock they'd serve dinner. Is that-
Well, I think that's a nice gesture if they want to do.
a little earlier would have been nice, if, you know, October 17th, it's gonna be a little chilly.
The bugs will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's because that's when
Campers
everything is wound
winding down.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
So we should accept it,
I'll move that we accept the invitation.
okay,
I'll second
alright.
All those in favor?
that.
Aye.
Okay, then we have Island Days trash pickup on July 12th from 8 to 12. And I'll get that noticed out on our town Facebook page.
Mhm.
We have, I think, when I looked last week, I think we had 75 people who had been looking at it. And it's a little awkward awkward, every time I post something, I have to make each individual post, that people can't comment on it, but.
Oh,
it seems-
really?
It seems to be working okay.
Hmm.
And then,
Any comment, any feedback?
Obviously, you're not getting.
You're not gonna get
Facebook
replies, you're
comment.
not gonna get Facebook
right,
feedback.
when I put it on the neighborhood page, there were a couple comments,
I saw one that thought that it was gonna be reciprocal, but
yeah.
no.
Okay, and then
Is
just
there
meant,
an island day as well?
the Island Day is July 12th.
No, not the trash pickup, the island meeting.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I haven't heard anything about
I
it.
mean,
It's usually in July.
What is that?
Oh, it's when island residents and the local government get together on Ragged Island. It's a conservation building out there on Ragged.
Oh, so who would know this?
Usually what,
Jane Wass. I can get her
Okay.
information. She's usually our person that calls.
they contact you usually, right?
Well, they
Or
usually
us?
contact you and you call and say, hey, can we
Can
get a
we,
boat ride
can we
out?
hitch a ride?
All right, and then, as you mentioned, the Household Hazardous Waste Day is gonna be September 26th from 2 to 6. And I thought it was a good meeting this morning.
Yeah,
For everyone. I worked on the road RFP. The road agent came in this morning, made some changes, so that's why you're just getting it. I just got his update. Cammie and I had the New Hampshire retirement system. I'm gonna call it an exit audit. They had a couple findings that, we have to adjust how we report New Hampshire retirement. And I guess like one of them in our defense, they went to a new software system which wouldn't allow us to put comp over base easily. So many towns have had trouble navigating and learning the new system. And that was one of the workshops I went to when I went to the finance conference a couple weeks ago. And the trust funds are all up to date and complete. I gave you a financial update on Union Wharf, so it looks like you'll be a couple $1,000s under budget. And I helped Vanessa Vidum today with some information because she'll be at the BTLA hearing tomorrow, which Chip is attending. And I've been working on a forecast and hopefully get the rules of procedures complete for you pretty soon.
very good.
Yeah. Oh, I do have two emails from legal. The emergency lanes that, who was the woman who came in here? Chappett?
Yes. Yes.
So what has to happen is all the people who are affected on the road have to be notified prior to a public hearing. And if anyone isn't in support of it, then it can't happen. And then it can also be withdrawn at any time.
So that's consensus?
Yep.
Okay, and is that something that we have to, we shouldn't have to, that's a private road, right?
Right, so if she wants to notice everyone and do the public hearing, you would do the public hearing.
Yeah,
But I don't think you should have to pay for noticing
no.
everyone.
What road is this?
This is up in, at the backside of Beach Pond, Lower Beach Pond, Tibbetts
Yeah.
Road, thank you.
They were in last week.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then we had also talked to, this one's with Chaffet. The right-of-way that goes to conservation parking and goes to a woman's house.
On 20 Mile Bay.
mhm.
And so what legal said is basically the town and the homeowner share repairs. And if there's agreement between the two parties that another culvert's necessary for our parking, or to maintain the property, then we can be okay with it. and, you know, just to come to agreement on it. So this is, I believe, a third culvert in this driveway. But I can have this written up, invite her back in and see about the cost, if the town's gonna incur any costs, or if you just want her to incur the costs and maintain it.
And what is the classification of that road?
It's actually just a right-of-way.
It's
It's
a
a
right of
right-of-way,
way.
it's not a road.
So I'm not sure where our attorney gets the idea that we have sort of,
Because it's access to a parking lot for town use.
I sent her
so
both,
we could discontinue that with a vote. I mean, there's no, I mean, we have to go one direction or the other. We
Mm-hmm.
either have to say, okay, it's your driveway, you fix it. Or we have to classify it as a road in order for us to, if it's a right of way, I don't think have the authority to spend money on it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't wanna make that decision without input from the Conservation Commission.
right, the Conservation Commission could spend some money on it to maintain access to their
They
property.
could,
Right,
they could,
right.
so maybe the discussion.
Yeah, I think we have to
So-
talk to the Conservation Commission first
Okay,
before we approach the
all right,
property
so I'll
owner.
engage Steve and then have him come in and I'll have this written up for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, is there anything outstanding that I need to have done for you?
How are you guys doing on catching yourselves up in the police station?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? No, I asked them about a schedule this week. You're super busy this week.
Yeah, this week's out.
If we can get it done next
Next
week,
week.
then we can invite
Phil.
in for the next meeting. Okay. Yeah, next week is great for me too. So we'll get it done.
Okay. Thank you. Any, finish this up with Selectmen's updates?
Oh, good. I mean, mine's gonna take a while.
He's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a while. Well, we can come back to you. Anything?
Selectmen's updates?
Yeah, anything?
I only had one question for Audrey, and that was, do we have the Facebook linked to the website yet?
No.
So we should probably make that available.
No, and we've already talked about the meeting at the transfer station this morning for Household Hazardous Waste Day. That meeting went well. I don't see any issues with that.
So it wasn't at 8 o'clock, it was at 8:30.
8:30, yeah.
I was there at 8.
So you were early.
I left, but my attention span's very short.
All right, we'll come back to you for your report later, and
Okay, yeah, cause most of it includes what we're gonna be talking about.
To the BTLA.
What I've been doing with that.
the VTLA
And
discussion.
also the, yeah, let's come back to it.
Okay, all right, Chief.
While he's moving, if you're looking for a Maine Coon cat, talk to my daughter.
I just got 2 new kittens.
Okay, I heard about the internet fracas. that
Yeah, but
went on.
I wasn't she was the Maine Coon cat person.
Yeah.
No, the 2 kittens that we got are more than
Good.
enough.
That's
I still
issue.
see that on Facebook as far as every once in a while that it pops up, and you can't type in that it's a scam because they've limited you on that. It's, but it's definitely a scam. I believe that you have
Yeah,
this in front of you.
Yes.
I don't know if you have any questions, or do you want me to read through that? If,
No, I haven't had a chance to review it,
okay.
honestly.
we're way up on calls.
Yes, we're
100,
we're about 100 up this year, for a couple different reasons. One, we had the major storm that had come through. The other is it's been a fairly decent year. People are out moving around, getting injured.
a lot of fire calls.
We've already some of the fire calls, as far as like motor vehicle accidents and things like that, they're considered a fire call. We've had 3 very serious motorcycle accidents. in town already before summertime, as far as that goes. So one person being killed in one of them. So 134 fire calls, 88 EMS, 74 service calls, and 6 special details for a total of 302. Last year we had 199 calls at this time. And same with inspections, gas furnace inspection 37, oil burner inspections 2, wood pellet stove inspection 1, life safety 22, for a total of 62. Last year at this time we were at 35. So
Forward this on to the budget committee.
right.
Yeah.
So you never know as
No,
far
you
as that
don't.
goes, as far as where you're gonna be with calls and where the department's gonna be as far as spending wise, so it's kinda tough.
I'm not sure how the other two selectmen feel, but I don't find it necessary for you to read through
Yeah, no.
Yep.
all of these at every
Not
meeting.
a problem. I
Um,
figured that if you got to the point that you were all set with that, then you would say
I like
that's
seeing
where
this,
you're at.
Yeah,
I like
no,
seeing this,
I like to read this, yeah.
but I don't think you need to read it
Yeah.
for all of us.
Um,
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why is there going to be no bike safety day this year?
That was up to the principal. Apparently, they had chose that they weren't going to have one this year. I did not take the call,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure as far as that goes, and I haven't talked to the principal. I don't know if it was they couldn't fit it in this year, or they're never going to have another one as far as it goes. I will follow up on that to find out for the future. I know that it's a real, tough thing for them to do as far as safety wise,
Mhm.
with all the kids out on the road and things like that. There's some close calls in years past, but everyone usually makes it back, safely, besides a couple wipeouts here and there. We
Right.
try to make sure that, they're really covered as far as vehicles in front and behind, as far as traffic safety and stuff. But,
What happened to the motor on boat 3?
we went to use it this year as far as for the first time this spring for training, and it just wouldn't start and stay running as far as it goes. And there's a question of whether or not that it's the fuel that we had been using, as far as the avgas that is used, or there's different mixed reviews with that. Some are saying that avgas is really not that much difference than the fuel that you would buy
No.
at the boat area. One's like 100%.
Well, they're not ethanol, and
Right.
I put it in my bike.
Yep.
Avgas.
Yep.
It's higher octane.
Well, it's higher octane.
It doesn't. It's just a little. It was a little 8 horsepower engine. It doesn't get winterized. It's
But avgas has a great shelf life.
yes. That's why we use it in all of our small engines and things like that. We mix it half and half in our airboat
Mhm.
as far as it goes.
Half and half with what?
As far as regular fuel, like the town.
The ethanol.
Yeah, the town
Gas.
fuel and whatnot. But our airboat is a 350 engine as far as it goes. So, but what has been suggested is that we use the boat fuel only in the engine as far as it goes. So, when we put it away, it was still running, and no
There was
issue
no issues when you put it away and
Right.
it came back.
that we saw.
Okay.
And it didn't go out in the wintertime for anything. As far
So
as
I've asked, I've been here a long time, and I've asked many times, and I think now that you have Captain Morgan on board, you can get a complete manpower and time involved in these camp inspections.
yes, we haven't been stalling on that. We just
I know
haven't
you
got
haven't.
it all done.
Yeah. But I need a little bit of an ammunition to, what we do to approach the camps for the
Yep.
more.
we're hoping to have that done as far as the information for you.
Perfect.
There's not a lot of other areas that charge.
I'm not
For
talking
doing
about
it?
charging it,
Oh,
but it is an expense.
oh, what it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
But before you had asked about charging
But I ask
for.
all kind of crazy things.
So
All
we
I'm asking for now is how much did it cost?
does it
us?
cost? Okay.
What's it costing the taxpayer?
Yeah. So we'll have a very good idea of that when we finish this month, because all the inspections are.
They gotta be
We've
done.
got 2 camps left that haven't scheduled
Yeah.
out of the 7, so we'll have that all situated, and we'll tally up a cost, and
Perfect.
you'll have that without an issue. But as far as the billing part of it, other towns some don't have camps, and
Right.
Right.
so there's not a lot of areas out there that can say, oh yeah, we
We
charge
do that,
this.
yeah.
That's above your pay grade though. All I'm just looking for
Right.
is time and materials.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
So, perhaps a silly question. Word says that there was an electric vehicle fire at some point. Is that a true statement recently?
Not in our town.
Not in our town.
There was an electric vehicle fire in Ossipee
Oh,
out
it's
in
Ossipee.
25.
Okay.
There was one at Bald Peak last year, was it? Was it a golf cart?
They thought that the fire was started by a golf cart, but apparently it was started by something else as far as it goes. But the electric vehicle fires, they are, prevalent as far as that goes. It's not something that's gonna go away.
It's not an
obviously.
anomaly.
And,
per se.
but it's something that is gonna be very tough to deal with as we go along. A regular vehicle fire, we might put it out with 300 or 400 gallons of water. You pull out all the sides, any metals that might give you a hard time as far as burning, and the transmissions and stuff like that. Electrical vehicle fire is something totally different. You've got all those little battery packs that are underneath there that you can't get to.
Right.
They take off as far as it goes, and it takes anywhere between 4,000 and 8,000 gallons. From what I've been seeing to put a vehicle fire out. That's not saying that it's going to stay out. They've had them be loaded on the back of wreckers and things like that. They catch back on fire. They call it a runaway as far as the batteries. They get to the yards, and another same deal. They have to keep them 300 or 400 feet away from everything because
until
they
burns
can
itself out.
start back up again.
All right, I don't want to prolong anything. I just I had heard that, and I
Yeah.
didn't know if there was any truth to the matter.
Oh yeah, most definitely as far as vehicle fires,
But not
they're
here in
tough
town.
to deal with, but not
Not here in town.
not yeah.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
Thank you. I'm all set. Thank you very much, Chief.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming in.
The only thing that I have a question about, which I forgot to put in the updates, is with the new fire truck engine 4. When it comes time to, which June is right around the corner as far as it goes. Right now, it looks like that we have 2 complete bids as far as it goes, and one that's not complete as far as it goes, which obviously we have town procurement policy that says that we will have 3 complete bids. What we were looking to do is go through the HGAC buying, and one of the manufacturers, if not 2 of them, do that as far as it goes. Basically, it's like a federal buying power that you belong to for like a couple $1,000s. One of the companies actually put that in their bid as far as the price, and I think the other one has dealt with them in
And
the
the
past.
third one is no intention of completing?
The third one, they did a preliminary amount. They're at 1.2 on the preliminary, which isn't even close to giving us full specs and stuff like that. But we already know that they're gonna come back probably much higher, as far as Pierce wise, because they're a fairly expensive manufacturer. We can put the whole thing back out to try to get further, but between Alexis and Toyn, we've been dealing with them in the past as far as company wise. We have 2 Toyns, we have 1 Alexis, and we may, as far as what we can see in our committee, they're pushing towards the Alexis as far as that goes.
But just to satisfy, our local regulations.
Yep.
Is there any way to get that third bid completed?
We can try as far as it goes to do that. It may take a couple more months as far as it goes. Right now, we're looking at between 550 days for one of them. Another was like 800 and something days to build, and the third company was at 4 years. So we're not really excited about 4 years as
So
far as the track
you
was.
put out an RFP.
We put out, the original, as far as getting the amount of money to go to town meeting, we put out, a basic RFP as far as that goes.
And that was basically just enough to get a budget estimate?
Yes,
Not a formal RFP?
Correct.
To build?
correct. Because in today's day and age, a lot of the different companies won't even look at, then they know that you're not gonna go with them as far as, because of their cost and stuff like that, if you haven't purchased something in the past from them as far as it goes. Obviously, we have the 1.2 that we're working at. The preliminary with Alexis and Toyn are just below the 1.2. The not final figures with Pierce was at 1.2 already without any changes to that. So, but you had said that you want to make the decision beforehand as far as which truck or whatever. What we were looking at is that, do you want to look through the specs, or do you want to go with the committee decision as far as in their recommendation when it's finished?
I don't think I'm qualified.
Well, historically, we've never really gone through specs, and that's what the committee's there for.
Yeah.
That's what
Exactly.
Basically, there are 184 pages of different specs, and we're putting them side by side. Going
And
through
more
them.
importantly, you have this past town meeting set the budget
Yes.
for the whole purchase.
Yep.
So it doesn't have a lot of wiggle room.
Right.
there.
Yeah. There's no, and we don't want to, reach the time period of your 30 days is up.
Right.
You needed to have this in, and it's going to go up from there. So I just wanted to let you know that ahead of time and see which way you.
So when is your committee gonna have finally,
Within the next couple days, hopefully they'll be able to finalize
so
The
we're not
different
meeting
choices.
until when?
2 weeks,
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
June 10th?
10th.
Is that gonna fall within the time frame that these bids are structured for?
I would hope that it does.
Okay.
Is that in the afternoon?
4:30, yeah. They're all in the afternoon now.
And just get in contact with, and make an appointment. Should we make a standing appointment for June 10th?
Let's
Contact Audrey and
Yep.
go from there.
Yeah, but I think if you've got 2 solid bids, prices, and you've got one that you're working on that is gonna be
Right.
higher, I think that would be enough to satisfy.
And I know that the HGAC satisfies, our procurement policy
Mhm.
because they're a federal deal as far as
Federal
it
buying
goes.
group.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we'll look at that. One last thing, as far as Pure 19 or the Union Wharf project, that looks awesome as far as it goes. Is there anything in the works to keep people from driving onto the wood part? Or has anyone discussed that with you?
No.
Well, I think we did talk about it while we were out there, and the wood portion is not suitable for vehicles.
Oh, 100%. No, but I'm
But
just saying.
I think
that-
the only thing we can do is signage,
Right.
unless you, and I think we have to keep it, I don't think we can block it off.
Okay. Because it used to be 6 inches higher
Yeah,
than.
and now it's
Even.
level.
And you probably can say that no one will do that, but
If
I
there's-
guarantee that
At the very least, we're gonna be signing it,
right.
And it's gonna get reclad at the top.
Awesome.
new
So
decking.
that's-
Yeah, last year we had a problem with going through it in a couple different places.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's definitely not
Oh,
going to hold
yeah.
the vehicle.
Mr. Newcomb came in, was complimenting us on the pier, and wondered if we should put old fire hose over the post to keep them from getting beat up.
And protect the boats. We deferred him to you.
Okay.
If you have any old fire hose, we didn't discuss who would put it up.
Right, we wouldn't go ahead and do that unless you said, yes, you want them covered up. But we may have a line on like 1,000 feet of 4-inch hose that could be used. That's failed pump testing and stuff, so.
Okay.
If the department still has it, but when I had visited the department, they had 1,000 feet of hose that was, needed to go away.
Okay.
So it could be, I believe that it would fit over the 4x4s as far as that goes, or at least the face of it.
Flattened, yeah.
Yeah.
Attached. Well, good. I
So
think that's something that we can discuss further.
Yeah. And just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Good. We'll expect a call from Mr. Newcomb.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Super. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Road agent.
Hello, so,
Hey.
the reason why I'm here today is to talk about the, invitation to bid for paving.
Good.
You guys all have a copy of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I just got it, so I haven't had time to go through it.
Okay.
Usually,
Can you give us a
yeah.
breakdown?
Well, basically, what we're hoping for is to have 4 inches of pavement on each road when we finish with a base coat and a top coat. And what we're asking for is to put a top coat 1.5 inches on Shirley Way
Mm-hmm.
and Woodland Drive. And we're gonna get a price for doing, what's the road that goes up to it? I always forget that one, going up to Shirley Way.
Chamber.
Chandler, yes, I know I was thinking that one. That would be grinding and putting a top coat on, so 2.5 and 1.5 inches. And also, it's, spelled out for Tufton Borough Neck to do the first 4,000 feet, which we didn't touch, hasn't been touched last year.
Base coat.
Base coat, and then put a top coat over 8,000 feet.
The whole
So
thing.
that road is done.
Yeah.
And then also, we're asking for a price to do, Pine Mill.
On mill.
And that would be, we'll see what they come back with, but again, base coat and finish coat.
And
In its entirety.
Yes,
And if it falls within our budget, we're doing it.
correct.
If it doesn't fall within our budget, we'll do what we can. Prep, pulling rocks, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
then,
there's,
and then
a
pay
lot of
next
that.
year.
I mean, it's the last few, I think almost
Bless
the
you.
last 4 weeks have been just pulling rocks, cutting and pulling rocks on Tufton Borough Neck. I mean, we're pulling out well over 100, and some are pretty good size. But it's mostly rock. It's worse than I thought it would be.
Wow.
Where does it go?
What's that?
Where does the rock
Like,
go?
you want some in your house?
No, not at all.
They go behind the town garage. We have a
Pit, that's right.
rock pile.
So the instruction to bidders, does this come from someplace other than
This, yeah, Audrey has,
I plagiarized some of these.
Okay,
yeah, so,
so this has been done before.
not by me, but correct.
What other places have used the same?
I looked at several towns and I felt like this one was short and concise.
And we just need to, change page 16 to be Shirley Way. Page 6.
Okay.
6, thank you, 'cause there is no 16.
I thought I was missing something here, okay.
Page 6, Shirley Way.
Oh,
And
it even says.
And Chandler Road,
some parts.
I thought that we weren't gonna be doing Chandler Road this year.
And I don't know where Bradford Road is.
Oh, that was supposed to be the sample page, I think.
Yeah,
What page are you on, please?
on page 6. I can use my pen.
Okay.
Oh, was up on top, I see.
Okay.
I thought we talked about coming back to Chandler Road next year.
So I think what we agreed on was we're gonna get pricing,
Okay,
and then we would discuss it after the fact, what we could do, what we can't do.
okay. Because first on the list are Shirley Way
Yeah, finish
Tufton
the
Borough
road
Neck
you
Road.
started.
and what we could do on Pine Mill.
Pine Mill's in worse shape.
Yeah, and we're not sure that we have enough money to pave Pine Mill this year. So if we don't have enough money to pay Pine Mill, we certainly don't have enough money to do any work on Chandler Road.
So do we take it out?
But it would be nice to find out how much it would cost. We still need a budget estimate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But they are gonna break it down between the projects?
Yes.
They do, okay.
I think they have to answer the bid with the same schedule, don't they?
Yes.
They have to say, okay, Chandler Road,
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
But as you can see, each road has a cost for it. They have to rate the price for each road.
So I'm hoping people can wordsmith this and get back to me tomorrow when we can put out the RFP.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow night,
Okay,
as soon as possible.
okay.
Well, the date on here is set at something like June 17th, between June 17th and September 30th
Oh, for paving.
for the paving. So
Yeah.
we'd wanna get the bids done, obviously,
And the 17th isn't a
as soon as possible
regular,
anyway.
isn't a
Yeah,
regular meeting. I didn't know if the board would come in to open bids and you'd be able to do this one, and it sounds like you'd be able to do the fire truck also.
June 17th?
Yeah, it's a Monday night. So it would be short and it would be only a couple items. It wouldn't be a full meeting with signature and correspondence and everything.
June 17th, you said. Oh, come on.
Yeah. June 17th is open right now.
Yeah, I'm okay. I am okay with that one.
You want to do a work session in the morning, is that what you're saying?
I had it at 4:45, but if you wanna do it earlier, that's up to the board.
Well, you just have to, I mean, we were expecting the bids to all be in by then,
Right.
so it would have to be earlier receipt of the bids.
Right, I have that as Friday the 14th, and then you
Okay.
open them on the 17th.
Good for you guys.
If that's all we're doing,
I'd rather get it over with in the morning.
I can do it in the morning.
Maybe-
Sorry, on the 17th?
Yeah, Monday the 17th.
I think. What time?
Can we meet at 8, 7, 8?
7, 8. I don't care. I can be here as early as 6:30 or 7. Or, yeah, 6:30, 7. So,
8?
8,
8's fine.
Okay.
it could be 7:30 or 8, Cammy will be here.
Are we putting it in or?
8 AM, yeah.
We're putting it in?
8
Okay.
a.m.
Okay.
Seventeenth at 8 AM.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay,
If I can get it
it's in.
published- If I can get published, then a week later, Jim will meet with the, have a pre-bid meeting with people who are interested to ask questions. And they'll have basically a week to turn around a bid and you'll open it and award it.
Okay. And so you can be here for the bid opening? Do you wanna be here for that?
It's up to you guys, if you'd like me to be here, I certainly could. I don't know if that's when you're awarded.
We will be.
Okay.
Then-
Maybe I should be
then I
here so
think
we
you
can
should.
discuss,
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'll take a look at this, read this tonight
The
and
North
get
Line
back to you
Road,
tomorrow sometime.
we were approached by Mr. Stockman about doing some work on it. On the class 6 portion.
Way down.
Okay, yeah, the dirt section.
Yeah, the part that's washed out apparently quite a bit.
Well, it's a lot of water problems there.
Yep, it needs some,
And he wants you to do the work, but you're the road agent. Do you see a conflict there?
no,
Okay. So we told him to get in touch with you, cause you're gonna determine what is proper construction work on that road. What you'd accept as the road agent.
okay,
And we're not turning it into a class 5, we just wanna make sure that,
Passable.
Drained properly.
yeah, it's definitely had some drainage issues, but it's not cheap to fix either. So-
well, it's not,
Right,
Yeah, he's
perfect,
taking it on.
perfect. Okay,
and tree work, how's your tree work going?
we've had some done, and actually, you know, we haven't received a bill for it yet, I need to get that, but, we need more to go, obviously, there's endless amount of trees that need to come down, and, I talked to our tree guy, and he did say this spring, just that storm, everybody's just out straight, he needed to get caught up a little bit.
Are there more trees coming down on Tuftonboro Neck Road?
I think there are a few more that need to come down. Yep. That are, you know, ash trees.
Right.
Yep.
Speaking of which, are those dead ash trees at the old Dow Farm, I guess, the charter house, I guess they call it, junction of North Line Road and Ledge Hill Road.
Oh, yes,
There's a
yeah.
line, and every other tree is dead.
I see
Is
that.
their responsibility?
I don't know. I think I need to measure to see how far they are from the center of the road, because it seems like they're fairly far away.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's in our right of way.
I'm sure they're gonna end up someday.
Well, I mean, if
Pretty
selectmen
dead.
would like to do it, but
And the schoolyard, has Dennis talked to you about some overhanging branches and whatnot around the schoolyard, Davis Field?
no, I have not heard from him.
Okay.
So, Dennis, will be calling me, I'll call him.
I think that was like a month ago last time.
It
And
was a while ago, yeah.
for some reason I thought you were.
Cause they're buying some playground equipment.
I thought it was on the way mowing.
And were you consulted about taking or cutting down 2 posts on the new wharf to allow barge access?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, because we talked about that.
Oh, great.
With
Yeah,
Jack.
there's really no way to access,
Yeah, Jack will reach out.
and we don't want them going back to Herbert Lane. And I think we agreed
Two
2 posts.
posts.
Do you know which, are they all the way in? Is that-
No, they were down the end on the right, probably back a couple, but check with Jack here. And you're a barge owner, so you put your heads together and figure out which 2 are the best.
Okay. We land on the wooden ramp out there and drive on.
No. As much as you'd like to.
I don't wanna fall through that.
Yep.
So you're the sign guy, we need a sign for out there. No
Okay.
vehicles.
No
on the wooden
vehicles.
part of the dock. Somehow.
No vehicles beyond this point kind of thing.
Yeah, something like
We could
that.
put
2 of them, one on each side.
Okay,
Put a nail strip across there.
It's gonna be redecked. It's going to be redecked,
Okay.
but, still,
Excuse me.
you can't put anything heavy on that.
Oh, yeah.
But we wanna put Bobcat or.
No, I knew that, it's just, we were talking about it earlier, but. Yep,
Alright, I'm all set.
Yeah.
okay.
Alright,
Thank you.
thank you. John Arigno, Spiderweb Gardens, and Susan Weeks. Hi,
Ryan?
feel free to come on up if you'd like. What could we do for you?
Did you have a chance to review the letter that we received? Okay. First question is, I'd like to know what your expectations are as far as the trees and the limbs that are hanging over into the cemetery area. What's the town's expectations of us as the landowner surrounding the cemetery?
I think I'm gonna defer to Susan. What are your expectations, as cemetery trustee?
Well, there are a lot. There are a lot of trees right up against the boundary on the whole back line. And the upper hill, the 90 degrees, so it goes back, then up, then over, then up again, abutting their property. And there are a lot of trees there. We had a lot of branches come down. I have pictures to show what the damage looked like. And fortunately, there was only one stone damaged. And it wasn't broken, but it came apart at the seams, so it can be fixed.
And that's the old section of the cemetery you're talking about.
That was the
right?
old section. But the entire back line is trees right up against the fence. So I spoke to Brenda about this, that they need to be aware that could be damages if the trees come into the cemetery or the branches or whatever.
Mhm. I think your letter gave a very good description, and it wasn't accusatory in any way.
I didn't intend it to be accusatory.
Okay, so again, what do you want us to do?
I think, my opinion, I'm not speaking for my brothers here, I think that if there is anything that is rotten or looks like it could easily come down in the next storm, knowing that you could be damaged, that these trees could be damaging very, very old headstones, you might wanna do something about it before it happens.
Okay.
I realize that we can't make you take down trees on your own property, but if any of your trees do damage to our property, you can be held responsible for it.
Yeah, we're aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
But it would be a shame to have any of these old headstones damaged.
And if something does occur there, we would like to be told, not shown a letter 3 weeks later,
Mhm.
hey, there's some tree limbs down, how, if you're aware of it, so.
So, if there's a tree that's 100 feet tall, and I clear 80 feet back, and that 100-foot tall tree lands,
Mhm.
so you're still saying that would be bad. So what the best solution would be for me to clear cut 200 feet back from the line. Is that your answer? Because we can't predict
I'm not gonna advise you one way or
when
the
a
other.
storm's going to take a tree down. We can't predict that.
I realize that.
And I'm not going to have an arborist come and test every tree to see which one is rotten. Yes, if it looks dead, okay, I'll assess it and I'll take care of it. If a storm knocks limbs down, I want the first opportunity to clean it up. I don't wanna get a letter weeks later saying, hey, this was the damage. I had no idea that there were limbs down. I would've come up there and cleaned it up. I mean, yeah, if it came from our trees, I'll clean it up. I don't want any damage done either, but I don't know, we're not logging it, we already logged the area. We can't log that far back. I mean, these storms were unique.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, these are lovely. But I tell you right now, what I need to stop is that I don't wanna talk about it anymore. And you can't come to us in the beginning of April, when we're going into our busiest time, and tell me that we need to worry about the trees.
Right. I think what is missing here is that there's no way to mitigate against acts of God.
No.
That's
You
correct.
can't insure for it, you can't do anything. So perhaps there's some liability, but I think the liability ends with, you have to prove negligence, and having trees on your property isn't an act of negligence. So I'm kind of averse to having some kind of arrangement made where we're recommending that he log his property just to.
I don't think the intention of the cemetery committee's communication with them is to ask them to do anything. I think they're solely advising them of what could happen if any damages occur.
Mm.
We can't, I don't think we can compel you to do anything.
Right.
However, this is a formal notification, so you are well aware that if anything does happen, you're liable. You can't come back and say, oh, we didn't know. Well, now you know.
That's a far stretch, but
Yeah, I think you,
I,
I have to respectfully disagree.
That's fine.
If, we're putting my notice that your trees are up against the cemetery lot line. That's as far as we can go. We can't predict weather events.
No.
We can't wind events. If there was a tornado that came through here, although some people in the audience might like to bill these folks for the repair of headstones, I think it'd be a hard job to get that done.
Don't know.
It's just my position.
And I don't think we can compel him to cut a thing.
is that the one that we were talking about?
Yeah,
That one? Okay.
the branches that are down in those pictures are the sides that are your trees. They're your branches from your trees.
Okay.
There's no pictures of, there were branches from town trees also up here on this upper corner. But those are just, it was a mess. And,
Yeah.
just that one stone got, came apart at the seams, so that can be fixed. But I think what is going to happen is we're going to submit this to the town's insurance company. Because we don't have the budget. There's trees down everywhere in other cemeteries too. So, I think this has to go to insurance now.
Our insurance company told me, and I asked them a specific question, if we get a bad windstorm and a tree rips off from the back where the far greenhouses are, will you cover that? No, that was an act of God. I'm not covering it. And every time I asked them a question about weather, it was no, we won't cover that. So again, I understand what can happen from storms. But for us to clear cut back to avoid that from ever happening, I don't think is reasonable.
Well,
So,
I don't think any of us have asked you to do that.
right,
Well, it's
but
been
we're being forewarned.
Suggested that we log, which we've done that, we're stewards of that property, obviously, we need to have proper forest management, and we've done that already the year before last. You can't just keep cutting, and if you do cut that back, it will not be attractive.
Well, I'm not sure, I don't think that's gonna help the problem. I mean, if you relieve the pressure on the trees or increase the pressure on the trees by removing some trees, you're just gonna have more of those pines falling over.
They're gonna be.
I mean, I think it's not in a bad place right now.
Guy, you had something to say?
Yeah, folks, I'm the sexton for the cemetery.
Okay.
One thing that does occur is that the cemetery's shut down about mid-December, so anything that happens during the winter might not even be noticed until we can get in there again. So letting you folks know really quickly might be a problem.
Okay.
But I'm sure you guys would understand that anyway.
Well, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, 15th of April, when we open up the cemetery again, we may find stuff. And if you don't mind cleaning up branches and things, that's perfectly all right by me.
No, and now that we know, I'll actually go up there even after a windstorm and check myself.
You know, we never know, because as we say, the weather can do its thing, and it is an act of God.
Yeah, and
In a cemetery,
the old
of all
stones
places.
can break just from age, I would imagine, I don't know. But, and I know that, budget is an issue, but, all of New England has tree-lined cemeteries. They're all, and there's 60
Everywhere.
of them from what I understand in town. And I would imagine you all as selectmen are probably grant writer or applying for grants at all times. And probably the cemetery people are too, and there are grants available. That maybe that could be something that's a little pool, I don't know, I got enough going on over there, I don't need to tell you, but maybe there's ways to get at funds. And we wanna be good neighbors, and taking care of what we take care of is kind of a
Full-time
lot.
job.
Yeah, Herculean, on a daily basis. So we just wanna know, because we've had someone in 3 times, different committee members suggesting that we do a survey, suggesting that we log, suggesting, educating us, as we're pretty well aware of forest management. So we just wanted to know from you all, if this is imminent in some fashion, we need to take care of it. So.
Judging, this is all new to me today, but judging by what I've read here and the pictures that I've seen and what I've heard, I don't think anybody is asking you or trying to compel you to do anything. It's more of an awareness and being a good neighbor. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Do I have that?
Well, yes, I felt like it needed to be talked about, because it's a problem. And I initially thought maybe there was something we could work on together, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, see, again, you really haven't said exactly what you want us to do.
I
So,
think the most that could be asked would be to help clean up a mess if a mess occurred.
of course, that's easy.
And if you see anything dead that's
Oh, yeah.
overhanging, maybe get rid of it.
Yeah. And what he said about opening up when you cut, it does stress the other trees, because when we had the last piece logged, I said, why did you do it that way? He says, because if I didn't, the wind's gonna come through and knock everything else down. Because you just opened up an alleyway, and that alleyway funnels the wind in.
Right.
And it's awful.
It creates a
Right.
wind tunnel, essentially.
Yeah.
You want it to be attractive, it's very pretty now. It's better with the trees.
I think you could go down, I think you could walk that line and say, that needs to be cut, that needs to be cut, that needs to be cut, something like that, and just take down a bunch of dead stuff and reduce some of the threat.
And when I get a chance to breathe, I'll do that. Right now, it's not happening.
Understood.
It's just crazy.
It's high season, I get it.
So, to get to this point, we've heard about it 3 and 4 times, so will this now be the end of it until the next storm?
I don't,
Unless there's something to tell us.
yeah, I mean, this wasn't initiated by us.
Okay, and I have one more question. So there's a committee that takes care of the cemetery. It's a committee of 3, yes?
Yeah, we've got
Yes.
3,
two of them here.
So when a letter's drafted, does the letter have to be approved by all committee members, or is it just one?
Actually, that
Just
letter,
curious.
Yeah,
typically, it's all 3 review it. This one, actually, I don't think I sent it to them to review.
so it's an elected committee, which is different than, for instance, the planning board, where it's appointed. So they have their own rules and regulations, and they statutory rules that they have to live by. So they can write a letter based upon their position.
Okay.
But you always have the right to come see the selectmen about anything you want.
Okay.
Excellent.
Is this for us to keep or?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. That concludes, I guess, no other questions to you.
All right.
Very good, thank you.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Come see us anytime.
All right.
And,
It's the longest days of the year.
hang in there. Fall's coming.
Good night.
These two are not anything to do with this cemetery. These are all pictures from other
No, the
cemeteries.
first one is Edgerly Lake, all the rest of them are this cemetery.
And Chris Rule cleaned up after the last storm.
And he spent several days with his trailer there. These are all in the cemetery. And yeah. And there is one wall that trees on our property overhang. And there was some branches down from those too, but those pictures aren't in here. And I don't know, did I attach these pictures to that letter?
You attached
Yeah, I sent her those,
that one,
that one, and
and that one.
that one to show the tree line, the property line there. There's a wire fence
Yeah.
with the trees right up to the wire fence, which
This looks like it's down in the backside,
it's
down
the
there.
backside, well, it's,
And this
and yeah, it's the whole,
the lower.
Yeah.
all the way along their property. The trees are right up to the fence, pretty much. There's a couple of barways that run the trees. She had asked me if the trees were against the boundary line, and I said yes, so that's why I put those pictures in
Mhm.
with the letter to show her.
Yeah, I don't think your letter was threatening in any way, accusatory. I think it was purely informational. The tone may have been, a little disparaging, but I think your intent was just to let them know what's going on.
And our first visit, because I referred to several visits, was about the need for the repair of the wire fence along the back, was to discuss whether we should do that in partnership because it's a boundary line fence, or whether they had any views on it, etc. It was very clear that they weren't going to take any responsibility for it, so we've discussed having it as part of our maintenance, and I think actually Chris Rule has fixed some of it already, but it was basically falling to the ground. So that was the first visit, and then the storm and the damage to the headstone. So we've cleaned up the first lot. I guess going forward, it's good to have this arrangement where their understanding is that they will actually come and clean up some of the damage or
Hopefully.
the trees
Hopefully.
that fall.
And they're not so busy.
Possibly. We'll see.
So we're expecting next week to get a detailed bill from Chris for the storm damage all over town. Assuming that will go to the insurance company. I mean, it's worth a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I think it probably would use up our entire budget. I don't know how much he's gonna charge, but he's usually very reasonable, but it is a lot of work.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
Did
That's
you get the note from our attorney?
Oh, I did.
Okay, so when you make your claim for Chris,
Oh, no, what,
we need to itemize what cemeteries year working on. Because we cannot spend public funds on cemeteries that haven't been abandoned. So regardless of the state of them, regardless of the trees, regardless of anything, we can't spend any money. And actually, we can't even make an insurance claim against those, because they're not town property.
Well, I think that the ones that Edgerly Blake has been declared abandoned, and that had the next most damage. And there's one up in the mountains that had a tree down that I think he's cleaned up. That was, Bailey Walker, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Up by
up
Hid-
on-
Up by Hidden Valley,
Mount Pleasant,
not Pleasant.
is it?
No,
Haley Wall?
no, it's by Calendar,
Oh,
on the
up
other
on-
side of the property.
Oh.
I have the other paperwork here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. For the Agricultural Commission. Oh, boy. It's good you're here, Guy.
Put them in your trash cans.
I got in touch with the municipal association about the money and getting the unexpended balance. And, the lapsing provision applies to all funds that are not designated as non-lapsing. There are a number of exceptions to this statute. Funds deposited into a specific agricultural fund under RSA 674-44 are also non-lapsing by statute. It specifically says, the whole or any part of money so appropriated in any year and any gifts of money received pursuant to 674 blah 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 shall be placed in an agricultural fund and allowed to accumulate from year to year. If those funds were required to be returned at the end of the year, this would expressly disregard the statutory right for the funds to accumulate. Therefore, RSA 674-44 applies, not RSA 37-7. Because the initial response we got was based on 37-7, not the statute that I had brought in for you.
Thank you.
Earlier. You want one?
Sure. I can share with Audrey.
Okay. And the question, my email to them is on that. And I asked the question. So since I brought this in last year, I don't know, July or August, and pointed it out, I think we should get the remainder of the unspent balance from the $2,000 that was budgeted for the Ag Commission last year. Because, I mean, it did get spent, it went into the fund balance, but it should go into the agricultural fund.
Okay, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you. Again, there was never an agricultural warrant article. There was never a fund established.
No, it's a state law.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this. The statute specifically says the whole or any part of money so appropriated, meaning a specific agricultural fund established under RSA 674.
They're talking about warrant items.
We never established a fund. We established a budget line item. Those are always lapsing. funds, if we were to establish a fund, we couldn't, under this law, we couldn't make it a lapsing fund. In other words, it wouldn't be a one-time event. It would be a fund that would never lapse, because it's an agriculture fund. I mean, it's no different than
A town or city having established a conservation commission under this subdivision may appropriate money as deemed necessary to carry out its purposes.
Yeah, I saw that too.
The
and that-
whole or any part of money so appropriated in any year, and any gifts of money received pursuant to 674-44 shall be placed in an agricultural fund and allowed to accumulate from year to year. It's pretty straightforward.
I think the first sentence says it. Having established a conservation commission under this subdivision may appropriate money as deemed necessary to carry out its purposes, whether that be in a warrant or operating budget. That's how I would read it.
So our agricultural funds, so I'm trying to catch up to speed on this. Are agricultural funds different than other line item funds in
Yes.
our budget?
Because of this. No, they're a standard line item in the budget. And so is Conservation Commission, but that money is also non-lapsing, and it goes into a fund for them. And there may be others. But the Ag Commission has got this special RSA. Makes it kinda unique.
And your account is non-lapsing?
Well, Jack has got the account. It's the warrant, line item on the warrant that's non-lapsing. That means it doesn't go into the surplus or general fund, unexpended fund balance. It goes into an agricultural fund.
And has Jack been doing
Well,
that?
he got, the gifts from last year have been put in the fund, it created the fund.
Mhm.
But we didn't get the unexpended balance.
And what's the precedent from year to year prior to this? So in
Nobody-
other words,
Nobody was aware of this.
Well, it didn't exist. We didn't have the agricultural commission.
We had it for about 10 years.
No, we didn't. Yeah, 10 years ago, when Tony Lyon was out there, we did. But there was a stretch of about 3 years or 4 years when there was nobody on that.
Well, it was
It didn't
maybe
exist,
one
and
year
you
when they
guys-
all resigned, but that didn't mean we did away with
so,
the whole concept.
so are there, so in this, forgive me, I haven't read the RSA, so I'm coming into this, I'm trying to gather information here. RSA 674-44, is that pointed at specific account numbers? Do you know what I'm saying?
It's pointed at specifically an agricultural commission, only.
Okay.
Do we have a budget kicking around?
It's about $2,000 a year.
So
That's what it was.
are your so is your expectation then to gather the $2,000 or whatever is remaining from last year, or are you trying to go back X number of years?
I'll be happy to get last
Just
year's.
starting
I
from.
think I could go back further, but I'll be happy with last year's. I'll give up the fight if we get last year's and go forward.
Go
with it.
forward from there.
Based on this information, I would support Susan's position.
I haven't read the RSA, but this guy's got an ESQ at the end of his name, so.
Well, this is the municipal association lawyers that you wanted me to
Well,
use.
ESQ, no offense to our attorneys at large, can be, ESQ at the end of your name can be bought. I have one at the end of my name. Because I paid $75 to the state of New Hampshire to get it.
Okay. So, but is this person not an actual attorney? Of the bar
Let's assume he is.
Attorney?
Yeah,
It's from the New Hampshire Municipal Association.
Right.
Yes.
So, if you have a warrant article that puts money into the agricultural fund, or you put the sale of the garden plots into the agricultural fund, which we are now doing, those never lapse. Those will always remain and accumulate. The general fund is a lapsing account. And what DRA said to me is that the general budget for Conservation Commission, for recreation, and for agricultural lapse. They do not get put into the fund. And the town that I'm aware of who does have conservation money, it was written into their general fund money goes into their conservation. It was written into one of their warrant articles to do so when the fund was established.
I specifically asked him that question. If you look at the email that I sent initially.
Yes, I am.
Because you had been told that it didn't apply.
I mean, he said
The first paragraph.
the first, yeah, the second sentence actually says there are a number of exceptions to this statute.
For example,
Right.
appropriations via special warrant articles can be made non-lapsing for up to 5 years. We do that. In the case of RSA 37.7 would not apply. Another example would be Conservation Commission Fund, which is specifically made non-lapsing by statute.
That's a separate fund, it's not the general budget.
Yeah, so that's the crux of the issue,
Or any
right?
part of money
It's-
so appropriated in any year.
This,
Any
this,
gifts.
your question and the response does not specify the difference between general operating budget and warrant articles.
Right.
No.
And I think that's where the hang-up is right now.
The statute specifically says, quote, "The whole or any part of money so appropriated in any year and any gifts of money received shall be placed in an agricultural fund and allowed to accumulate from year to year. If those funds were required to be returned at the end of the year, this would expressly disregard the statutory rights for the funds to accumulate. Therefore, 7444 applies here."
Which is exactly what Audrey was saying. The
Well, how can I put it in the fund if you don't give it to me?
you have money in the fund. So there are two elements to this that you don't wanna, that need to be answered. One is that we have put the money from renting garden spaces and gifts, et cetera, in a non-lapsing fund that's run by the Agricultural Commission and will continue as a non-lapsing fund
Right.
forever. You're asking for something completely different.
The unspent balance
we
of
have
the
not-
appropriation.
We have never had, to my knowledge, an agricultural fund warrant article to establish a fund.
I don't think it's required.
Well, I guess I'm gonna defer to DRA, let's get an answer from them about the operating budget.
So,
Because if you read it, read it as openly as you want, then 100% of the conservation budget goes into a non-lapsing fund every year. And that's gonna change our budget requirements for the Conservation Commission as well as the agricultural portion.
It's hard to argue with the statement, "the whole or any part of money so appropriated."
The
Define
keyword-
appropriated.
Keyword is fund. Your operating budget is not a fund.
that's the concerning part.
The whole
Your
or any
operating
part of
budget is the appropriation.
But it's not a fund.
No, it moves at the end of the year from, the unspent part moves into the fund.
So I have questions. So again, trying to gather information. Does the Agricultural Commission have a separate fund from the line items that we have in the budget.
Well, we established it last year when I brought this up, and they put in the gift money,
Okay,
you know, the rental money from the plots.
Yep.
That went in there, and that's what's in there.
okay.
I'm saying that we should get the unexpended balance of the appropriated money.
That lot rental out there was always off budget, never been included in our operating budget. The revenue or the expense, never included in our operating budget in the last 10 years. So it's always been, I don't know who ran it, Jackie or somebody was running it, about who gets a plot, where the money ends up going, the expenses that are incurred.
The confusion is the operating budget.
Right, and I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah, but
having not read the RSA, I would think a line item budget stays a line item budget and stays with, that money stays with the rest, because that's how,
no,
but,
no.
But it says-
and this is where I don't understand, there are exceptions to the statute, but does that pertain to the line items in the budget?
No.
Or is it just,
I think
Just
if,
the Ag Commission.
if you go to the second
or the
paragraph,
Conservation Commission.
go ahead,
second paragraph, second sentence,
okay,
the statute specifically says the whole or any part of money so appropriated in any year and any gifts of money received pursuant to 674-44F shall be placed, so we're at the end of the year. The whole or any part of money so appropriated in any year shall be placed in an agricultural
Okay.
fund and allowed to accumulate from year to year.
Bob,
Yeah,
read just for edification, the
Yep.
first sentence of that paragraph.
funds deposited into a specific agricultural fund established under RSA 674-44G are also non-lapsing by statute.
Okay.
And that would be the fund that Jack
That's the
has.
fund that Jack Whitmer drives for the Agricultural Commission.
Right.
Well,
I think it's clear.
I don't,
I know you don't, but I do.
I mean, if it's clear, then I think what we probably should start discussing is zeroing out the agricultural line. Because you've lost all sort of accountability for your budget. If the whole Conservation Commission budget needs to go into a fund, what are we doing? You know, we have no control over that portion of our budget, that doesn't make any sense.
No, we have control over it. It's just whatever's left over at the end of the year she wants to keep. Because it says she can keep it.
Okay, but now what happens? Okay, can the budget committee or the selectmen say to the agricultural people 2 years from now, you've got $6,000 in your fund, we're not gonna allocate anything for your budget this year?
well, that could be the
Yeah, I
result,
think that's a risk.
that could be the result of how that happens, because you're right, that could be what happens.
I mean, if we look at it in the light of the Parks and Rec Committee, that's an ongoing fund that gets used and replenished off budget. It's in their purview. And that works perfectly, but they don't take their operating budget with them every year. They get to use it that year, just like the Agricultural Commission can use
Yeah.
their budget.
But I think,
Well, what's gonna happen is if we're getting what's left over, the budget committee's gonna press us really hard. Do you really need this money? What are you gonna spend it on? And they may not give us as much each year.
Right, but does that accomplish the goal that you set forward a year ago when we started this argument of expanding the Agricultural Commission to include other things other than just the garden plots? Because you need
By
that funding.
statute, it is a big deal,
Sure, but you need funding for that.
yes.
So I would,
This is kind of a painless way to get some funding.
it's not painless at all. It's more painless if you raise money through your garden rental and keep it. You need some other big event, you have a warrant article and keep it.
And I'm gonna do this with 2 people on the commission?
You can do it with one person on that commission.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then don't do the big
How
work.
about
Well,
getting some more people for us?
you know as many people around here as I do. But the operating budget on an annual basis shouldn't be driving your decision making.
What?
Okay, you're gonna.
We budgeted $2,000.
Right. Okay, what are you gonna spend it on?
Well, what I'd like to do is get a surveyor out here and put some pins in. That's probably not gonna happen, with $1,500, but it might, we might be able to do it. Because, you know, you're having us now mow that field. It'd be
We're
good
not
to
having
know.
you do anything.
You did, we paid for that last year
Well,
out
I'm
of the
sure you
Ag
did.
Commission. Because you decided that was the Ag Commission and the selectmen weren't responsible for that field. So we paid to have it mowed.
Okay.
And we did special mowing at the request of the gardeners for their, what is it, flower garden,
Pollinator.
pollinator garden.
We'll charge them more. I mean, they're your customers.
I have no control of those. You gave us no control, or
What do you
we
mean
weren't to have
gave
any.
you no control.
You made rules that we could have nothing to do with those people for at least a year.
We didn't make that vote. That was a negotiated position between you and your sister.
No,
We
it
had
wasn't.
nothing to do with that.
Oh my God,
Nothing to do
Chip,
with it.
really?
Well then,
You specifically told us,
okay.
hands off the garden people for at least a year. They wanna run it themselves, and they've been running it themselves.
Okay, let them run it themselves, but they don't set the rate.
Who does?
The Agricultural Commission.
No, you told us hands
No,
off.
No, that wasn't what you were told.
It is.
No, it isn't. What you were
Guy,
told.
Guy,
No,
you
no,
were here.
what you were told was that the garden plots have all been rented or they have people. So don't get involved in that part of it. But if you want extra money, charge more money. Charge more money in 2025. No?
This is going nowhere.
No, and
Would
just-
you like us to put this to a vote?
Put what to a vote?
This?
No. I
No.
don't think it requires a vote.
Okay.
Well, it certainly does. Before any money leaves this house, it requires a vote of the selectmen. If we wanna be out of compliance with the law, it has to be voted on. If we wanna be in compliance with the law, it has to be voted on. But no money leaves the house without the selectmen approving it. Just doesn't happen. Didn't happen when you were a selectman, didn't happen when you were a selectman, it's not happening when I
Well,
was.
there is one big exception to that. That would be cemeteries. And this isn't a cemetery issue.
It isn't.
However, you need to be careful what you say.
I'm as careful as I need to be. I'd like to get an answer from DRA personally before we make any decisions. 'Cause you're
I
gonna,
would like to get more clarification from
I mean,
comfortable
I was just
having
looking
Gary
at
tell me
674.44, and clearly I'm no lawyer because it made no sense. I have no idea how 674.44 has anything to do with this, to be perfectly honest. But that's obviously coming from somebody who is clearly not a lawyer.
I just don't know how we account for it. Where are you gonna grab $1,000 if that's what's in there? Or
It's
was
from
in
the
there?
fund balance that went into the undesignated fund balance. It's where it goes when you don't spend it.
Can we?
At year end, instead of going in an undesignated fund
The
balance,
only
it goes
way
into
we
her
use
account.
the fund balance is one, ask the people, or two, use it to reduce taxes. We can't
Right.
just grab $1,000.
Yeah, I don't. We're not
It
allowed to
should've
take
been
it
paid
from
before
the
the end of
undesignated
the
fund
year.
Well, it should've, could've,
balance, are we?
If this is the case, then maybe we'll look at doing it in January, but we certainly can't do it today. I mean, I don't know how we could pull $1,000 out of the fund.
Isn't the only thing that you need to ask is whether the words appropriation in that memo refer to the operating budget?
Right.
Right.
That's all
Right.
that
That's
you
a
need to
that
clarify.
to me that feels like the crux of the issue,
Yeah.
right?
Because they haven't said operating budget balances, they said appropriations, and you don't know whether that means.
That's what I
Right.
asked
That's-
about 10 minutes
That's
ago.
Yes.
all that
That's-
needs
that's
to be
really-
clarified.
That's kind of what's hanging
It's-
this discussion
That's
up.
my question. That's my.
the question.
And to follow that up with, if it does go, if all these decisions do go in your favor, what's the mechanism for taking the end of the year money and putting it into that
I would do that in December, it would just be, a check
Right.
that, Jack would deposit or move for me.
And move it into the agricultural fund.
But I don't
Correct.
think we
To
could
zero
go-
them out for December 31st.
Right,
Right.
and I don't think we could go backwards because that, has been already audited.
Well,
Right.
I'm gonna, in that case, I'm gonna check with, another lawyer about how far back it goes. Cause maybe we can go to when that law came into effect,
But where would that money come from?
undesignated fund balance.
Right, and as Chip alludes, and as far as I understand, we can't go to that without going to the town during the
I don't
year.
know. I don't know, if you've.
So in that
if
respect,
you've not been following the law, you can't continue to not follow the law.
agreed. I don't disagree. The question
So I
is,
don't know how that works.
the question is, as you stated, we have to get to a place where we know whether that line item can be moved into the agricultural fund or not. That's the crux of the
We
issue.
could write a warrant article for 2025 to fully fund the Agriculture Commission, all the money that's owed them from the past century,
Mhm.
and get the voters to.
Yeah, and you know
then
what, we
vote.
might end up with like $3,000 or $4,000.
Exactly.
So,
It'll be non-lapsing.
so,
I mean, what are we arguing about here? It's nothing. In the
No,
big
and-
picture.
No, it's the money, I know, we're talking peanuts, but I
It's-
think it's principle.
it's not even principle, it's law.
But the fact
It's
that the
law.
Conservation Commission also opens up other departments,
Mhm.
other funds.
But if it's
And that's
if it's
significantly
proven
more.
that we're not following the law, we have to correct it.
Then we have to correct it, and I'm 100% on board with that. But until we know whether those line items are appropriate here,
This is why
there's
they-
nothing we can do.
This is why they have courts. Statutes.
Well, no, but the statute's there. I mean, if
Are you clear on it?
no, but that's not
I'm
my job.
clear.
That's not my job.
It is in fact your job,
Well, when there are contentious issues,
but- right.
I do not have the expertise. I can look at it and try to make sense of it, but I do not have the expertise.
I don't know, it appears pretty clear to me.
Well, I'll get my other lawyer on it, who will give us a more in-depth response than I got from these people.
Well, I think we could
And
add,
that'll eat up whatever dollar amount.
So,
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Sue, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you dig up 674.44? Because when I was just looking for it on my phone, it had nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I must be looking in the wrong place. So I'm looking to you to send me to the correct place.
that's G, 44G.
But I mean, I looked at 44G, I looked at 44, I looked at all of 44, and it was clear as mud to me. So if you can find like the right one, I'd much appreciate it.
Okay.
I think, well, the answer was from the municipal association, they cited the law.
Right, but I think.
We may need to take this a step further and send it to Laura.
Yeah, we can go back to NHMA and say, if it's appropriated under the general operating budget, does this apply? That's just.
Is that what 37.7 is?
And then I could also go to DRA and say,
Yeah.
the claim is under 674, so I could
We
push
can't
them
be the
for
only
free.
town.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be the only town,
No,
having
no,
this
I'm
discussion.
sure the auditors will know.
so I'm sure there's.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it's not many towns because the first person,
Oh, you got it?
Michelle,
Oh,
who you.
of course I got it.
who
Bring the
got
whole
the first
library right
response from, was not familiar with this RSA at all.
Well done.
I
don't think
readily
the-
admit that I was probably reading the wrong one. That's why.
Well, we're not gonna resolve this tonight.
Yeah,
But you'll know where to find it in the future.
I will.
Okay. So can we move on?
I got a whole set of those at home if you want them. Yeah, yeah. that's
Okay, moving on.
Thank you for the.
To be
rigorous
continued.
discussion.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, Joe.
It's like interesting.
All
Thanks
right.
for playing.
Were you done with your selectmen's update?
Yes. Yes, Selectmen's update is done. Well, Chip's
Not
Selectmen's
yours,
update is gonna be
circle back,
extensive.
No, not so much, because most of it's already come out. I mean, part of this issue was, and hopefully she remembers that before she goes out the door. You're not on the cemetery committee anymore,
No,
but I did get a legal opinion about spending money on non-abandoned cemeteries. So, and I think that there's some of that happening. And we have to be very careful about that, because we don't own it. It's not a town property at that point.
Abandoned cemeteries.
Abandoned cemeteries are. So when.
But they have to be declared abandoned, don't they?
Right, they have to be declared abandoned.
Then they become town property.
Then they become under our care.
no, yeah, yes, under our care.
Yeah, but
The
they're not our
abandonment
property.
procedure grants us the same rights as the descendants of the people.
Okay.
If it's not abandoned, we have no authority or right to go there and spend town money. We can go there and do it for free if the people let us do it, but you cannot.
But a
spend town-
non-abandoned cemetery, such as the one right out back here,
No,
that's
And that's a town cemetery.
that's town cemetery.
Has been
But
forever.
all
Well,
money we
it's not
want-
abandoned.
We're talking about out in the woods.
But.
Right, okay.
No, that's the problem with the word abandoned.
Yes,
Okay, so there's a cemetery next to your house
Mm-hmm.
that has not been abandoned. We cannot spend money on that.
Right, because if it's on my property, it's considered my
It's your
responsibility.
cemetery.
Yes.
Right, I mow it and I may die
No,
and one be
it's not.
planted there someday.
Correct me.
Well,
that cemetery belongs to the descendants of the people that are buried there.
Okay.
However, no one has any right to go there that isn't a descendant of those people.
Okay.
And they would still have to ask permission from
From
you
the
to
landowner.
cross the property to get there. This is RSA 289, you might wanna write that
and
one down.
also ask the permission of that owner to do any sort of.
Exactly.
cutting,
Sure.
Right.
Even for free.
But the town, from a town's perspective,
Right.
am I hearing that it's actually illegal to spend money
Yeah.
Yes.
on a private property?
Yes,
Okay.
any private property. Yes,
So they can't plow my driveway.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I
anymore,
get
they
it, I
can't,
get it.
You know, pave my driveway anymore.
Yes, I get it.
Anymore.
I wanted the fire department.
Okay,
to
so
pave my
I don't
driveway
know,
because
so what's
it's
the,
in
where's the contention
statute.
here?
If I have a dry hydrant on my property, they need to pave it to the dry hydrant. I'm thinking, oh, it's pretty close to the house.
So what's, I don't understand the contention here.
The contention
You're
is
going back to, go ahead.
okay, the contention is that our current cemetery committee, of which Mr. Pike is no longer a member, has, I believe, spent money on cemeteries that have not been abandoned.
Okay, they shouldn't be doing that.
And they should be doing it, so I'd like to ask them to give us, for instance, Chris Rule went around and cleaned up a bunch of fallen trees.
We're gonna get a bill for it.
Right, but I wanna know which cemeteries he did, and if they were abandoned. Cause I just don't wanna fall into that hole
Setting precedent.
of, yeah, I mean, if, I realize we're being televised, but if certain citizens were to say, what are we doing spending public funds on private property?
Right, it's a fair question.
What's my answer? My answer is, I hope we aren't. I don't
Right,
think we
that
are.
we're not,
But here's this, we're monitoring how the money's spent. So, that's important. I think there will be maybe a little resistance, but we'll see.
Okay.
The other, part, I guess I'll go over it when we're gonna vote on this thing I'm going to tomorrow.
Yeah, the BTLA hearing discussion, yes, that's next. I'm waiting for, you all
go
set?
ahead. I'm fine.
Okay, BTLA hearing tomorrow. We have to state our position. At last meeting, we discussed it in depth, and the three of us are in disagreement. I have asked for some compelling evidence that we should change the current use for that 3 point whatever.
And did you get the copy of the RSA?
I did,
Okay,
I did,
the purposes,
I did.
and what's your feeling about whether or not it complies with the purpose?
My feeling is that he's right on the edge. It's not a commercial operation, it's a private personal operation, and my opinion is that he is not in violation of the current use wording. He's close, but he is not in violation. And if there's any doubt about which side of the line he's on, the fact that he's been using this property for many, many years for the same purpose is not compelling enough for me to vote for the change in the current use law on his property. So I will not support changing the current use
Well, I
of
think
his property.
I appreciate your position, honestly, I do. I think it's, I don't think it does comply with the purpose of current use. I think there are too many elements at play currently. The gate imposed on him by the court came out, but that changes the accessibility of the property. It doesn't make any sense to my mind, it's my mind, not anybody else's, to try to remain in current use, given the status of the property, and given the expense of taking it out of current use. What's the tax implication? I mean, it's pretty minimal. And it does open up the property for uses that are probably more consistent with what he's really doing. So I don't see it as I mean, I see a resistance to taking it out of current use as being just obdurate, just being argumentative. It doesn't make any commercial or financial sense to me. I mean, on every other occasion when we've seen a piece coming out of current use, it's been a struggle. But you can only take out the pieces that you've improved. There's penalties, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And in this situation, we're just talking about basically a tax change. But the personal use of the property doesn't change at all. And I'm not sure, and I'm not certain that tomorrow they may ask what the selectmen's position is, and I'll certainly give the position that's voted on tonight. But BTLA might decide on their own.
Oh, absolutely.
This is my understanding is that this is how the selectmen feel about the issue. We bring it to the BTA. We tell BTLA, we tell them what that issue is or that opinion is, and then they advise how to move forward.
That's just a piece of information that they're going to use to make their decision.
Yeah, they're just information gathering, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
But they are doing so with the town that's specifically in the matter.
No, yeah.
So
only because we haven't done anything about it.
Right.
I mean, that's, I think, the only reason we got invited.
And I mean, I share Bob's opinion in that I think Mr. Vidham is perilously close in many ways, but at the same time, because it is in current use at this time, and the use is for recreation, I'm compelled to agree with Bob in the sense that we should leave it.
His use is consistent with 50 years of use on that property for the same thing. That's what I'm saying, and that's not compelling enough for me to change.
Well,
That's
I know
all.
and I appreciate where you're going with it, Bob, I really do. It's not 50 years of the same thing going on. 50 years of motorcycling around the property, I appreciate they have done that. More of them did it, for God's sake. But the clearances and the creation of the track is not the same, and that hasn't been going on for 50 years. But if we want to leave it alone, put it up for a vote, Bob, and I'll take that to the PTLA.
I move that we leave the current use status of the Vidham property alone, and not change it.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I know it's gonna be difficult being the,
No, not at all. I mean, I know it's difficult for some selectmen to encompass the idea of having lost a vote and then having to defend the board.
yes.
I don't have any trouble doing
No,
that.
and I didn't get to finish my sentence. And I respect you enough to know that you were gonna have no problem going in there and supporting our position, regardless of how you feel.
I just,
All right, where are we?
being a bonehead,
All right,
I get crazy.
so we've taken care of appointments.
Do we do other business?
No, that's not, nope. We've done correspondence, we've done action, signature. I think we're clear. We've done administrator, selectmen's updates, other business.
So are we meeting with Phil in June? Is that the plan? Are you-
Well, that's the hope. We haven't set a definitive date yet.
Okay.
So Audrey and I are gonna get together next week, square ourselves away, and then hopefully shortly thereafter, we can bring Phil in.
Honestly, I want to get this thing moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
I'd like to have Phil on at the next selectmen's meeting, if we can pull that off.
Well,
So I think I said that the last selectmen's meeting
let's
too.
do this. Let's do this, Audrey. Let's pick a date next week. And we'll just go from there.
This is between you and Audrey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
right.
So
Yeah,
we will
yeah,
pick
we
we will
would-
pick a date so that we can make an appointment with Phil.
Yeah.
I mean,
Either Monday or Wednesday is a better.
Monday. I could do. I prefer Monday, but I could do Monday or Wednesday.
All you guys need to do is figure out where we are and how we got to where we
Yep,
are.
yep.
That's all.
Dig out the files.
Okay, yeah,
Speaking of where we are and how we got where we are you done?
I am, so the third.
Third, yes.
Canaan Road? The $820,000 federal grant for Canaan Road drainage, how are we coming on that? Can we get in touch with Bergeron, I think, was the surveying company or the engineering company, Conway, that arranged that whole thing?
HEB?
HEB.
Yeah,
right.
okay, let me follow up.
We have the grant and we have
Oh, well,
the 10%.
I'm racking my brain for, the guy from HEB.
His mom used to own the Tuckborough General Store.
Oh, great. How far back do we have to go?
Into the 80s.
Liz?
Liz.
Yeah. Liz Clemens?
Liz Clemens.
Liz Clemens.
Son
Really?
works up there,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mr. Clemens.
Well, I don't know if he's Mr. Clemens.
I
No, it's
haven't had it on my close radar, so I'll look it up.
McAllister is his last name. McAllister is his last name, but it was Liz Clemens' son. So along with that, when you're in touch with them, tell them that we're still waiting for, I think they had, Curtis Road on there. And I'd love to see Ledge Hill Road on there. I see the washouts up there that they've been working on. And certainly could use some drainage. And there was one other road I thought besides Curtis.
There were, I know where the files are, I can picture them.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's my other business.
Any other business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We're gonna review that contract and the notes that were sent back.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
and,
when do you wanna do that? And do you want legal involved?
legal got involved, but I guess we should have a talk.
I guess we need to review it first and see if we need to have legal involved. Because if they've complied with everything that legal has suggested,
No, they're not complying, they're complying with two things and not complying with the other things. So, okay, so I'll be in, you're here every day this week, I'll be in, not tomorrow, I gotta go to Concord, but Thursday.
Thursdays
And
are
then
good, it's quiet.
We're not meeting next week, but if we're good to go, we should probably think about executing that contract so we can make things happen.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted. And we can do it individually, we don't have to have a meeting, I don't think, do we?
To what?
To award?
I thought we did award, but maybe we didn't. Okay, so we do have to have a meeting. Okay. We'll structure it around your
Back to the
convenience.
minutes.
And you're gonna be here Monday?
Correct. We didn't settle on a time though, did we?
Okay.
8 o'clock.
No, evening, right?
I can do early. I can either do morning or yeah. What time? What's your normal schedule?
Evening would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quiet in here.
Okay. Oh, for you, for the,
Yeah, for the
Well,
police.
all
right,
I was
right,
thinking
right.
is
I thought about our
if you're
meeting.
gonna be here anyway, we can
We could,
run in, take a vote, sign a
yeah,
contract,
I'm gonna figure out.
so. But we don't know yet,
Yeah,
because we had to talk to Inspector Morgan.
and, well, we can't, we're not gonna vote at a work session, we have to vote at a selectmen's
We
meeting.
can,
As long as I post it. You can go.
Okay,
yeah, and we can add our,
So be on standby Thursday,
we
we'll let you
we
know.
have done a couple of times, at our next publicized film meeting, we discuss or talk about having voted. I just don't wanna run the time out too far.
no, I understand, I get it,
Okay,
I get it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I take this?